In the quiet town of Maplewood, everything seemed normal on the surface. Streets were lined with old oak trees, kids played in the parks, and neighbors greeted each other with warm smiles. But beneath this calm facade, something strange was beginning to stir, something only the children could see. It all started with little Emma, a curious 8-year-old with bright eyes and an imagination bigger than the town itself. One evening, as she was walking home from school, she noticed something unusual, a shadow that didn't belong to any person or object. It moved on its own, whispering softly, calling her name. Emma stopped in her tracks. The shadow flickered near the old maple tree at the corner of 5th Street, just outside her house. She blinked, but it was still there, dark, shifting, and watching. When Emma told her parents, they just smiled and said it was probably her imagination. But Emma knew better. That night, she lay awake in her bed, feeling the shadow's presence just beyond her window. And Emma wasn't the only one. Across town, other children began to see the same shadows, quiet figures lurking just out of sight, whispering secrets only they could hear. As days passed, the shadows grew bolder. They no longer just lurked in the corners, they followed the children home, appearing at the edge of their beds, whispering in voices only the kids could hear. Some children began to change. Quiet little Tim, who was always full of energy, suddenly became withdrawn, staring at empty corners as if expecting someone to appear. Sarah, usually the bravest of them all, refused to go out after sunset. The town's adults remained oblivious, dismissing the children's fears as childish nonsense. But the shadows weren't imaginary. One afternoon, during recess, a group of kids saw a shadow detach itself from a wall and stretch towards the sky like tendrils reaching for something beyond. Emma, now terrified but curious, gathered her friends and vowed to find out what these shadows wanted. They decided to meet at the old abandoned church on the hill, the only place that seemed connected to the strange happenings. That night, armed with flashlights and trembling hearts, the children stepped into the church, unaware that what they were about to uncover would change everything they thought they knew about Maplewood. Inside the dusty old church, the children's flashlights barely cut through the thick darkness. The air felt heavy, like the building itself was holding its breath. Suddenly, the whispers returned, closer now, urgent, almost pleading. Emma's flashlight flickered as a shadowy figure slowly materialized at the altar, a silhouette unlike anything they had seen before. It was neither threatening nor friendly, but it radiated a strange sadness. The figure spoke in a voice that echoed inside their minds. We are the lost, forgotten by time, trapped between worlds. Only children can see us because their hearts are pure and their fears unfiltered. We don't mean harm, but we seek help. The children listened, fear mixing with sympathy. The shadows were souls caught in limbo, unable to move on until someone remembered their stories. Emma, with a newfound courage, promised to help them find peace. And as the first light of dawn crept through the stained glass, the shadows slowly faded, leaving behind a quiet that felt heavier, yet somehow hopeful. From that day on, the children of Maplewood never forgot the whispers, and they learned that sometimes the scariest shadows are those begging to be seen.